Hey everybody, welcome to GGS Railways. My name is Greg, this is my YouTube channel. Alright, tonight we're going to take a second look and go through this model train lot, the Marx model train lot that we got. And we're going to do the steam engine part tonight. We'll do the diesel portion another night. And yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to take this little motor back out of the shell and service the motor like it should be. You may recall, if you saw the one of the last videos that we did on this, we just cleaned it up and made it work just enough to show that it does in fact work. And yeah, so you may also recall that the tender seems to rattle. Now I'm pretty sure this isn't gold doubloons in here. Otherwise, a lot more trains are going to show up. But no, I can pretty much promise you it's just weights that somebody has put in here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the shell off this guy, and then we're going to secure the weights in there in a way that they won't rattle around, because, well, that just bothers me. All right, so let's get the tripod in a better spot, and we'll get to going. Oh, before we get to going, though, you notice I have my GGS Railways coffee mug here. We have these available in my store, and they are quite nice, and I'm not just saying that because it's mine, but this blue color and the yellow, man, it is sharp, sharp, sharp. Anyway, all right, get you one if you want one. If not, that's fine too. All right, let's get back on with the video. All right, so I think I kind of want to start with this tender first, because it actually it may be the most challenging thing to do. So all right, so all the shells on the Marx cars are held by little tabs, and I'll show you what I mean by that in a minute. And you just bend the tabs up, and the shell will remove, which sounds simple, but sometimes it's not not as simple as I just made it sound. So all right, so maybe you can see the tabs here. This one looks like it's actually been lifted up. I suspect this guy has been opened before, and that's they put the weights in there, because normally I don't think a Marx tender is quite this weighted. It's quite nice actually, and it makes it run really nice. I like that. I like the idea. Just don't like maybe the way that they did it. So I noticed there's like a shoestring stuck in here and all kinds of things. We're going to go through this guy, and yeah, we're going to fix all this. So all right, so ironically, one of the best, easiest ways to get to these little tabs is to remove the wheels. So on this end, it's going to be easy. On this end, it's a little more complicated, and I'll explain that in a minute. But let's do the easy end first. So all right, you just kind of spring these out, and there shouldn't be a lot more tension than that. So if we were going to really do this upright, what we would do is we would take these axles and we would clean them up real good. And we may still do that, I don't know. If you were to run this just a whole lot, that might wear on these wheels. And that would, yeah, maybe not make you happy. So yeah, maybe we'll fix that. So all right, let's get the other set out. Same thing, same thing. Once again, these have been sitting somewhere for quite some time. Once again, this was a Marx lot off eBay for parts of repair, so you kind of get what you get sometimes. All right, so let's talk about these tabs. So I can see the ones on the back here actually already sprung out. So all right, so a lot of times these will be sprung in a way that you can't get to them, and what you would do to remedy that is you would get some sort of probably larger blade screwdriver, and you would simply stick it in and kind of just gently pry it up to the point to where these tabs would be sticking up. Now, once again, this one has already been opened. Anyway, so all right, let's go ahead and get this, and this is really all it is to it. Now, you need to be real gentle and real kind to these tabs, because you're going to need them to go back. So all right, these the thing with these tabs is there's only so many times that they are going to spring. So yeah, make them your friends. All right, so we got the two on the end. Now there's two on either side of the truck. These tend to be a little more difficult, but we're going to try it. Got the wheels off, so we got a little bit of room to work here. So all right, let's see. Let's try maybe sneaking in this way maybe. So all right, here we go. So all right, yeah, I think I got it. All right, once again, you just not real fast, just gently. So all right. Can you imagine being somebody in a factory putting these together? Because I think these probably were put together by a human being. I don't think a machine put these together. So that's a job I would have liked to have had. All right, so this guy is not coming up real easy. Patience is the name of the game here, because you do not want these to break. So once again, you only have so many time to bend these before they do eventually break. So all right, so we got all these. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, and now we got these in the middle. I think these on the other end are already sprung out. I think that's what I see, and yeah, I think that somebody took this apart. They just didn't get it back together very good. Maybe maybe the weights was an experiment. I don't know. So all right. As I alluded to just a minute ago, these on this end with this type of butterfly coupler, there is a order, an order that you need to do this. So the wheel will spring out from this end. If you try to spring it out from this end, you'll find that the coupler will fight you. So if you take and do it from this end, what will happen is it will more easily come out. Now, sometimes these can be a little bit of a booger. But once again, patience, 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 patience. So, all right, did you see what I meant? See, that wheel kind of gets stuck up against there. If we tried to spring it out on that side, it would be very difficult. And we might could do it, but we might also damage that coupler. And those are not real fun to replace, so you really don't want to do that. So, all right, so here we have the axle back apart. And once again, the gunk inside. We're going to clean these up as good as we possibly can. So, all right. Last but not least, we have this one. And I'll show you how to put it back together once we get this all buttoned up and those weights from clanking around. Now, it would be funny if there was actually like gold in there or something, but you know, I'm not. I'm not really thinking that's happening. So, all right, so this is interesting. You might notice that this little axle here is bent. If I can find another one, I might do that. And there's really only one way that this probably could have happened. That's if somebody stepped on it. And don't ask me how I know that, but that's probably what happened. Somebody at one point stepped on this guy. So, all right. So, let's see. Was I correct in thinking that the tabs on this end are already bent out? So, I think this was kind of a project in progress. And so, all right. Let's see what we're going to see here. So, we're just going to gently, gently, gently lift this guy off of here. And you don't want to use the screwdriver any more than you have to, because this is tin litho, and if you scratch it or mess it up, you cannot ever repair it. It's not, you know, it's not redoable. Is that a word? All right. Anyway, so all right, yeah, it was just a weight, some weights in here, and it looks like these actually probably did come with this. So, all right, so I was wrong in my theory that maybe somebody added this, I guess. I've never seen one this heavy, so it might be interesting to figure out what's going on with that. So I noticed that the shell here, probably from the weights messing around here, has gotten kind of cattywampus. So we may try to get that fixed up a little bit better there. So all right, let's see. And gosh, I can't tell what's going on this side. Maybe we can tell from the inside. No. All right, so yeah, so that little guy just needs to be sprung back. So, man, my head's probably in the way, huh? So, all right, so I don't know if you guys can see in here or not, but this is kind of the same as you would do on the bottom where we bend them out. But, of course, in this case, we're putting it back, so we're going to want to bend it back over the other way. So, all right, so I got that. Now, once again, you want to really take your time, and you really don't want to get in a hurry and get these to where they're subject to break. So, all right, so we got it back together, kind of, sort of. It could be better, but, you know, I've seen worse, too. So, all right, that's as good as that's going to get. Sometimes on these Marx 10 things, it depends upon how they were originally put together, and as I said just a moment ago, I suspect it was a person rather than a machine that probably put these together, and yeah. All right, so the weight. How are we going to put this weight back on? So let's see. Gosh. So it just it goes here, and it actually looks like it had some things that maybe held it on here. That's interesting. So let's see. Is that the case or no? Gosh. Well, yeah, maybe, no. that's a very interesting, very interesting geometry problem we have here. So all right, so we have one that goes this way on this end, and then another one that goes the same way on this end, but actually on further inspection I can see that this one is a tab that is actually bent over. So let's see. You want to watch your fingers when you're doing this, guys, because these tabs can be a little mean sometimes and they'll make your screwdriver slip. So I'm just going to sneak this in here, just ever so gently try to pry this up. Once again, these little tabs, they will only bend so many times. So all right, I'll try to get this up a little bit. So all right, I got one. So let's see, would this go in here like, well, no, that doesn't. It's gonna have to go in the center, isn't it? I'll be darned, it sure is, isn't it? All right, so it's gonna go like that, more or less. My goodness. Okay, so that's gonna mean that this other guy's got to get pried up too. So I've never opened up one of these because I've never had a reason to open up one of these. So this is not at all designed in a way that I would have thought it would have been designed. So I'm going to take my pliers here and cheat a little bit. Probably that was too fast. You don't really want to go that fast. So do as I say, not as I do, I suppose. All right, so let's see. So this will go here. And here, I suppose. I guess that looks right. All right, so so this guy looks like it actually, now that I'm looking at it, I think this guy has gotten laid over. This one may break off, guys, because that guy's supposed to look like this. Look, it's supposed to fold up this way. Oh, okay. Well, you know, I have another solution should it come to it. I always have another solution. I really do. So, all right. So what happened, I guess, is maybe this guy got dropped. Maybe that's how the shell got damaged over there. So all right, so we're gonna do this and then do this. Wow, we are really tempting fate on this. My goodness. All right, so I got it. All right, so it's back to straight. So all right, I'm gonna straighten this one up a little bit more just because I know how this goes now. All right. So, okay, so this guy is going to go on here, like so, just like that, and then the other one will go on top. So, all right, so the only thing that keeps these from moving at all is these little tin things, and because these are so much weight, I guess it bent the one on the rear there. So, definitely not gold doubloons. Definitely not gold doubloons. All right, so let's see here. So I'm kind of stalling because I'm trying to think what I can do here. So what I'm thinking about doing is I'm thinking about getting out my hot glue gun. Now I'm thinking about securing these with the hot glue and then bending these pegs over, because honestly, I don't know that these pegs, especially now that we've weakened them, are going to be strong enough to hold these plates. So let's see. I guess what I could do is I could go ahead and spring these little clips back where they go, and then we'll see. We'll see what we think after that. What do you think? That's a good idea, huh? Don't want to modify it unless we just have to. I mean, you know, it certainly wouldn't be the end of the world. So all right, bend this guy down. That one's in there pretty good. So, all right. So, I told you guys the other night that Marx was really vigilant about cost. And so they often did things that were good, but the bare minimum on their resources. So, I guarantee you all this that we are seeing right now is the result of engineering and cost control. So all right, they are in there. They're in there pretty good. Now I am going to go ahead and do the hot glue. It won't hurt anything. Won't change anything other than it might make these less subject to come loose and move around in the future. So one of the things I'm afraid of is if we do these pegs one more time or two more times, however long, that they'll start breaking off. And I really don't want to have that happen. Sometimes these will get to where, you know, you can tell that people have been in and out of them so many times that the pegs are just weak, and they do break. All right, so let me go get the glue gun, and I'll be right back. All right, so I've got out the hot glue gun, and it is nice and warm, and we're going to see what we can do about gluing this down. Now, what I've done is I've taken some alcohol, and I've cleaned this metal and where it's going to meet this these little plates, and I think that'll help it stick. So we'll see. This may fail miserably. We never know. So let's try it. I've had pretty good luck with the hot glue before, so we're going to see. And once again, the goal here is to keep these guys from moving around and keep them from coming out of their slots again. And I think just by the way that this is designed, that is probably going to work with this hot glue. We will see, well, pretty quickly. So, all right. So I'll just fill that hole. So, all right. So I'm wondering if I ought to fill, well, this is the truck, what you call it, rivet here. So we probably shouldn't fill that. My goodness, if there's hot glue in 100 miles, I don't get my finger in it. So all right, maybe what we might do though is we might put a little dab here on the staple. Maybe that'll keep it from moving. So I think the goal here is just going to be to keep it from getting any kind of momentum to let it get loose. And obviously it had quite a bit of momentum before, or else I don't think it would have come loose. So, all right, so we've got a little hole we can fill on this end. And frankly, I think this is going to work. Now, the good thing about this hot glue is that it will not add any weight or change anything as far as the weight distribution. And so I think that'll work out. So, all right, so got that done. Let me get this guy unplugged. Excuse my head if it's in the way. And we'll drop that cord down there. We'll have to get that in a minute because we've got puppies. And yeah, we don't need to shock any puppies. All right, so let me get this unplugged. And that'll give us a little bit of a second to wait on that hot glue to dry. Or cool, I guess. Well, dry, cool. And let me see if we did any good here or what's going on. So, all right, so let's see. Uh-oh, there's that piece of shoelace or whatever it was. So, all right, you know, I'm going to say that worked like a champ. It is not moving around at all. Very cool. So let's go ahead and start putting this guy back together. All right, so you notice it has a front where this guy is here, and the back where the coupler is. So we'll need to keep that in mind when we put the shell back on. So I'm noticing that this guy here could use a little lubrication. He's kind of stiff. So all right, yeah, it's probably a good thing we didn't put that what you call it, hot glue in this rivet. I mean, that I wouldn't have done that anyway, but it is a good thing we didn't. So all right, let me get some. This is just WD-40, guys. This isn't what our final product is going to be. I'm just trying to get it free. And yeah, all right, it's working pretty well now. So let me just wipe this off, and we'll come back with some real oil here in a minute. But that'll help get it free. So all right, this is plenty free. And yeah, so what would happen otherwise is that as these trucks moved along the track, it would want to take this staple for the where it hooks to the locomotive with it, and depending upon what it was doing on the track, that could possibly cause it to derail, and we definitely wouldn't want that. So all right, so these axles, these wheels. So all right, gosh, I didn't know we were going to come to this quite this quickly. So all right, so I'm going to first off, we're going to see which one of these is the warped one, and we'll try to either straighten it out, it's that one, or we will see if we can find another one. So all right, let me go get some other supplies, and I'll be right back. All right, guys, so I was able to straighten out this axle fairly well enough. The thing is that you don't want it bent because you don't want your wheels to be curved in or out. And anyway, these wheels do actually spin on the axles independently, so I mean, it wouldn't be that huge of a deal, other than you're subject to have them want to spring out of your trucks because they won't be completely straight, which means they wouldn't be quite as long. So all right, so let's talk about cleaning up these axles. I've already done this one I've already done this one. So this guy here is one of the worst ones. Now all I got here is just a little bitty piece of sandpaper, and you know, you don't need to get real crazy with it. Just kind of put it in there, rotate it, just kind of smoothly, and I mean, once again, you're not going to take a lot. If it takes a lot, then you probably need to find another another axle, because at that point it's probably pretty bad. So all right, just make it shiny, and you're pretty much good to go. So all right, very cool. And what this will do is, it's not as much aesthetically as it is function. What you don't want it to do is to have rust to the point that it eats the wheels. So yeah, that kind of makes sense if you think about it. If the axle it's spinning on is abrasive from the rust, then it will sometimes possibly eat the wheels. So I've only seen that once actually, but anyway. All right, so this guy's coming pretty clean. So all right. So I had planned on buying a polisher that kind of looks like a grinder, but with a soft wheel to clean up these wheels, and I actually did not do it. So all we're going to do with these wheels is we're just going to take a little bit of solvent. We're just going to clean them up, get them as good as we can. Then we'll probably come back later and maybe polish them and whatever. I mean, they don't look just horrible. So all right, so the way that I use this solvent, and what I'm using right this minute is actually a contact cleaner for electronics, but it will work just fine for this. And anyway, what I just do is I spray it here on the rag, not on the part itself. Uh-oh, had a problem with my cam there. Just kind of get a little bit on the rag and then go and just clean off your wheel. It's pretty simple. Pretty simple, and that'll generally take most of it off. Got a little bit of rust. So we did wipe these down with the WD-40, which, as I alluded to, probably more times than anybody wants to hear now, is a solvent. It's not actually an oil. So it has helped to loosen up some of this rust and stuff and make these wheels look a little bit nicer. So all right, missed the spot there. I just saw it. So all right, once again, we're going to get a little bit of a buffing machine, and we'll run these through it when we get it. I just forgot to grab it. That's all I forgot to do. So all right, very cool. This is working really well. So all right. So when we get these together, we'll lubricate them and get them all back in, and it'll be a lot happier. So with these Marx tinplate, they don't have traction tires normally, and so you want to make these wheels and so forth to where they will turn as easy as they can. It'll give it a little bit more pulling power, just because it's not as hard to pull. That makes sense. All right, so come right along on these wheels. Some are cleaning up a little bit better than others. It might be time for a little bit more solvent here. All right. So I've got a brand new fiberglass pencil here that I'm just itching to use on this armature, on this locomotive when we get to that. So yeah, or especially for that, I just forgot the stupid the polisher for these wheels. I don't know, not sure how that happened, but it happened. All right. So far, so good. One more wheel. Wow, felt like forever. So, wow, look at all that came off. And that's because the WD-40's been on there releasing all that this whole time. So, all right. So, WD-40 people are going to be calling me going, what are you talking about our product like this? All right, anyway. So, okay, so we got our axles cleaned, and our hot glue has dried to the point to where I can actually tell that this has actually been a very, very good idea. So, all right, so once again on the, well, I was going to put it on the wheels, but I think we'll put on the body because we need to have the room without the wheels. So I got a little ahead of myself there for a second, didn't I? So all right, so this is the front. This is where this end would go. And this guy's acting a little bent or weird or something. There we go. I think it was bent. So yeah, I think this guy, well look, he's kind of not square here on the front. I think this guy has had some sort of fairly large accident. So all right, so let's see. What were we doing? Where are we? So all right, yeah, this guy here goes on this end. So this would be easy to get incorrect because the tabs really don't know the difference between one end and the other. So all right, what I might do is I might go ahead and straighten these, because if they're straight out, they tend to line up a little bit better as opposed to bent over slightly. So all right, let's go ahead and do that. Man, can you imagine once again somebody putting this together? And I'm pretty sure it was by hand. Different times for sure, right? So okay, let's see what we can do here. All right, I like to start on one end and kind of work them. So let's see. Do we see any kind of, well, that one's not, this is what I was talking about, not quite sprung in the correct way to make this go in here. So, all right, this is going to go in here, I promise you it is. So we got, I believe, 2. Now we got to get these others, and these are not lining up like they should. That one looks like it should. Get our doohickey out the way here. I like that. Like that really technical terms I use, doohickey. So all right, so we got that end on there. All these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 are on there. These 2 are on there. Looks like the 2 on the end. Well, they're all in there. All right, what do you know about that? So all right, when you go put this back together, just make sure you keep some pressure on it, and then bend your tabs, and slowly, and they should go back pretty much where they were. So all right, and you want to lay them flat like that one is, and that's actually what keeps it together, believe it or not. So needless to say, every time you do this, these are going to get a little bit weaker. So unless you just really have a need to do this or want to do this, yeah, probably best to leave it alone. So all right, wow, this one here is being a little bit of a pain. There, I think I got it. Yes. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get the ones in the middle. So this is the only car we're actually going to take apart. I just didn't like that rattle. And yeah, just wanted to make sure we weren't a millionaire too. You know, it could have been gold doubloons, right? Pirates treasure. Pirates had trains, right? Okay, maybe not. All right, so get this guy bent down. And once again, we're kind of keeping the pressure on the top while we're bending these down on the bottom. So, all right. So we got 2 more to go. And then we're ready to start putting this guy back together as far as the wheels go. So, all right, I think we're doing pretty good. 1 more to go. So, all right. Woo! Wow, we didn't break any, and it's all back together. And it's still got that little wonky spot there, but not as bad as it was. So I think it just got damaged when those weights came loose. It adds character. Why not? So, okay, let's put these wheels and axles back on. So, like I was telling you guys earlier, you're going to want to make sure that you put these wheels on this butterfly coupler end, if you should have the butterfly coupler on the end that this end, wow, on the on the side that this is on first. Just put it in the little slot and then spring it in the other end. Otherwise, like I said earlier, you're going to get stuck on this little guy, and it's not going to make your life very fun. So all right, so we got 1 in there, and I wonder if we ought to put the lubrication on there first. Well, we'll come back and do it maybe. Well, on the other hand, let's since we're doing it, let's just go ahead and get it done, and we'll do it right. All right, so that was a misstep right there. That's what you call it. All right, so the little oil is over here. So, all right. So I figure only people that are really, really interested in this are going to watch it anyway, at least to this point. All right, so a little bit of oil here. We're just going to take, and you'll notice that the wheels, when you handle them, feel like they're hollow, and they are in fact hollow. So you can get these guys oiled up, and that oil will stay in there, and that makes it pretty cool. All right, a little bit of oil on the axle here. All right, so this is the one that's got the oil already. Look how nicely that spins. Wow. Woo! Man, that's going to be good. It's all right. Get this other one on here. It's all right. Get that guy oiled. Oiled on that side. Get this guy together. All right. Man, this is going to roll so good. Look at that. Wow. Very cool. So, all right, we might take a paper towel and kind of wipe it off. And when we get it all together, we'll probably want to wipe it off again just to make sure that we don't have a lot or any oil on the outside of these wheels, because what will happen is it will get on the track. And because this Marx doesn't have any kind of traction tires or anything, it will not make it around the track the next time it comes around, because it's just going to hit some oil. So yeah. So all right. You know, I saw a John Wayne movie just today. I don't know in what context I saw it. I don't know if it was on YouTube or what it was, where they greased down the tracks to steal some gold or something like that. I don't know. So that's interesting that I saw that, and then now we're greasing our axle or oiling our axles and our wheels here. So that's kind of fun. All right, so we got the axle oiled. Same story. All right, we may fast forward through this part or whatever, because all the wheels after we get through this one truck are going to work the same way. And the only reason they're different on this truck is because it's got the butterfly coupler. And the only thing, once again, different on that is that you just got to put it in the side where the notch is, or the raised part is. There you go. First, otherwise it gets caught. And I'm not saying you couldn't do it that way, but it's much, much easier if you don't. All right. So, wow. That rolls so good. Very nice. So, okay, I promise you that probably this is the first time that these wheels have been serviced. A lot of people don't service their wheels. I don't know. Maybe I'm odd in that way, but I like it to work the way that it came. So, all right, here we go. This guy sprung back in here. So all right, so looks pretty good. I might take and clean that up a little bit. So all right. Once again, this is the only one that we're actually taking apart. We might take the wheels off the others, but we'll probably do that in fast forward. It's the same thing. Same process. Once you've seen it once, you know how. That's what I'm trying to show you guys anyway. So, all right. I'm trying to get this oil off of here. Looking pretty good. So, all right, man. Oh, man. Look at how nicely those spin. Man. All right. So, let's get these others done. Go a little bit faster on these, because you guys have seen how it's done. And we don't really need to ponder that. It's not rocket science. All right, last but not least, alright, so that is how you service the wheels on these guys, and I promise you this is going to roll really, really nice. So, alright, so the coupler seems like he's okay, and the staple seems like he's moving, well, okay. I still feel like he could probably move better. Maybe we can try to sneak a little oil in there. I'm not sure exactly how that's going to work, or if that's going to work, but definitely got oil in there. So yeah, I think that did work pretty well. So once again, I think this guy has had some sort of catastrophic collision at some point in his life. So all right, the only thing that we'll need to do is make sure that we didn't get so much oil that it's going to run. So we'll check on that guy a little bit later. So all right, so for now we are done with this guy, and it is pretty sharp, working pretty good now. That oil is definitely definitely running, but all right, I still think it's probably worth doing it just so that staple will move a little more freely. So all right, so before we get to the locomotive and start servicing that, what I want to do is I want to go ahead and I want to spray all of these tinplate cars down with some of this WD-40, and that'll get the cleaning process started while we work on the locomotive here. So to use this, I'm going to spray it on kind of good, and the secret is not to scrub it like I did the other night right away. Just let it sit and kind of let it do its job, and if you do it that way, it'll be more gentle on the finish. Now, once again, if you have something that's got a really good finish, or something that you're not, kind of trying to do a last-ditch effort to save it or whatever, don't do this. This is this is for these guys that, this is kind of the last thing you would try, kind of an act of, I won't call it desperation, but you don't have anything to lose. Let's put it that way. All right, so all right, and don't be afraid to get it just pretty much everywhere. We can clean the wheels and everything back off if we need to. Once again, WD-40 is actually, it is a solvent. It is a lubricating agent, but it's not actually an oil in the way that you think of oil. It doesn't stick around like oil does. It will actually evaporate, and it is a solvent. I promise you it is. So all right, so we got that going. We're just going to let those kind of soak while we get to the locomotive. So all right, let me go clean off my hands maybe, and I'll be right back. Alright, so let's get to the heart of the set, the locomotive here, and we've had this guy running, so it's just a matter of taking him apart and giving him the service that you know, is necessary to keep him running in a healthy kind of a way. So these marks are super simple. If you didn't see the other video, it's just 2 screws here on the front. This particular Marx is a 999, and it is a cast metal locomotive as opposed to plastic or tinplate. So all right, so the other night when we took this apart, it had been so long that since it had been taken apart that it did not come out quite that easily. So all right, so I don't really see that we need to do anything to the inside of the shell, and these wheels here actually look like they're not all that bad. We may try to give them a little bit of a shot of oil here, just because we can and because we're here. Well, that actually was a lot of oil. This new thing of oil I've got, wow, that really made it go good. It's not intuitive yet to me as far as how much comes out. So all right, we'll have to wipe that oil off, and as best as we can. So we actually got some accidentally on the staple here to join the two, but you know, that's maybe not a bad thing. So all right, we'll have to clean that off in a little bit here with the other guy, the other cleaner that we have. So all right, so I think that's okay. It seems like it's okay. All right, so let's put the shell out of the way somewhere where it won't get damaged. And I believe that somebody has repainted this guy, but they did a fairly good job. The clue is that I don't think that the handrails would have been originally probably gold. So I'm going to actually put this guy over here. All right, so if you've never seen me do one of these Marx motors, it is quite interesting. It's not a lot to it. So all right, so in order to get this brush plate off, which is one of the main things that we're going to want to do, we've already lubricated this guy pretty good, and what we've done still looks pretty good. But what we're going to want to do is probably clean the inside here and the tunnels that these little brushes go in, because I know that they're sticking. We know that because it would run for a little while and then stop, and then run for a little while and stop, and that's just a pretty clear indication that that's what's going on with this guy. So all right, and the reason it does that is because the brushes get stuck if they're not up against the armature goods, and when it cools off, those little tunnels that cool off, and the brushes will go and mate back to the armature, and yeah, so it's kind of a game of cat and mouse. So all right, so but the whole fix is to get it clean. So that's what we're going to do. So did not bring the small pair of pliers. Don't know why I didn't, but it didn't. I got some needle nose here, and that was a very interesting way to get that off. It did come off though. So all right, so we got lucky on this guy that the E unit, which is what this is, seems to work pretty good. Sometimes you get them and they don't work all that well. So all right, so to get this this plate off, what you want to do is you want to get your little drive rod here down as far as you can, and that will allow this guy to come off. Now, if you've never taken one of these off before, be careful. So this is some sort of fiber product, this little plate is, and it will break if you get real rough with it. So just kind of sneaking on out of there. There you go. So there's our brushes, and they are quite crusty looking. Wow. So all right, yeah, this guy definitely gonna need some cleaning. So the good news is that we can do that. So on some of the Lionel motors, the armature will actually pull out when you get to this point. The Marx, it's because of the way the gears on the other end, it will not, which makes it just slightly more difficult to get this clean, but not impossible. So all right, so some of the things that I've learned on these guys is that when you get this and you're going to say, hey, I want that clean, what you don't want to do is you don't want to do this. Don't do that. So what you want to do is get it on a rag, and then then kind of wipe it. And the reason for that is, and we talked about this on the Ives locomotive, is these little collector plates here. They're on here with a little bit of an adhesive, and these aren't as bad as the Ives, but if you get that solvent in there, sometimes it will loosen the adhesive that keeps these on here, and what will happen is you'll have one of these delaminate and it'll come off, and if that happens, you're pretty much stuck looking for another armature at that point. It's just not a good thing. So what you want to do is probably just get your solvent on a rag and just do it like this. And after we get this done, then we'll come in with the fiberglass pencil, which I told you we just been itching to use, and we'll clean it up real good. And really, that's about all there is to do on the armature itself. You don't really want to mess with it a whole lot. They do tend to be a little more fragile than most people seem to, well, including me, seem to assume that they are. It's all right. New fiberglass pencil. Let's break it in. Let's do it. So wore out that other one summarily. It's all right. Fortunately, they're not all that expensive on Amazon, so we restocked. We got quite a few this time. It's all right. So if you've never used one of these fiberglass pencils, it's just for scrubbing stuff like these little copper plates, and you just use it like you'd use kind of like a scrubby. And I don't know if the camera is capturing that, but that is cleaning that quite nicely. All right, just kind of get it clean. Name of the game. So when you apply power to this little motor, the two little brushes are right here, like I showed you before we took it off, and they simply sit in this little tunnel here. And when you apply power, the brushes make contact to make all the magic happen right here. So this is really important to have this clean. This is where the power gets everything going. So yeah, this is what you want to have clean. So on these old antique type, I guess I can easily call it an antique, Marx locomotives, this is not uncommon to open this up and see this like this. All right, just clean. So all right, very nice. So I think that looks pretty good, guys. I hope you guys can see that. I think I got most of it. You don't want to shy away from doing as much as you can. So when I opened this up the first time, I noticed that there's a little spot of rust here on the end of the armature. So this, unless this was like really bad, it should take that off, and it is. It's just a little bit of surface rust. All right. So all right, I think we got that end of it pretty good. Don't really see anything that looks crazy bad. So all right, so I might get another, well, I have one right here. I was going to say another paper towel, but I have one right here. I'm going to spray it down with some fresh cleaner, and then just go over it one more time. And I think that's probably going to be good. Very cool. Very cool. So, all right. Man. So, a lot of people will not, or they don't know to service them this way. So it's not uncommon at all to open these up and just go, oh my goodness. So I found everything in here when I've opened these up. I found carpet fibers, I found pet hair, I found probably people hair, I don't know. Pretty much anything that you can imagine, rust, debris, just everything. So all right, so let's clean up these little brushes, and that you can spray directly with the cleaner here, and will not harm them in any way, shape, or form. All right. So I'm not sure exactly. I'm not sure exactly what these brushes are made of. I think they're graphite, is what I want to say, but that could be wrong. So all right. In any case, you want to get them clean. You want to get them clean. So, all right, there's one. And then here's two. So, all right, before we stick these brushes back in what I call the brush tunnels, and they probably do have an official name. I don't know what that name is, but I call them brush tunnels. I've called them brush tunnels since the beginning of this channel. So that's to me what they are. So all right, I'm just kind of wiping off the end of these brushes. You might find that you need to take the fiberglass pencil, maybe give them a little scrub if they're not looking like you think they ought to. That one looks pretty nice. Got a little bit of a burnt or dirt spot on there. I'm not sure which, but it came right off. Very cool. These fiberglass pencils are awesome, guys. So if you're gonna work on these guys, you definitely want to get these. They're not expensive, and they will just save you a multitude of headaches. So all right, so the next thing that I need, I did not bring, and I knew I needed, so I'm not sure why I didn't bring it. But we're going to get some Q-tips, and we're going to soak the Q-tips in the contact cleaner here. And what we're going to do is we're going to clean out these little, what I call brush tunnels, and we'll go from there. Now, before we do that, we may just clean this, the back side of this plate off. Now, once again, be careful with this plate, because once again, it is some sort of fiber product, and they're not terribly difficult to replace on these Marx locomotives, but they're getting increasingly difficult to find, and it requires you butchering probably another Marx motor at this point. And yeah, so all right, we try to save stuff if we can. So, all right, looking good. So that's what it's supposed to look like, as opposed to what it did look like. So all right, I'm gonna have to stop here. I guess I'm gonna have to go get a Q-tip to get inside those brush tunnels. Then we're about ready to put it back together. So there's not a lot to these other than, you know, lubricating the parts where it should be lubricating, and getting the electrical to where everything contacts, and that's really about all you can do on these. All right, let me go get that, and I'll be right back. All right, so I am back with the Q-tips, and the way we're going to do this is we are going to go ahead and flush this out with a little bit of this contact cleaner, and then we'll go in it with the Q-tips. A little bit of a warning about that coming up. So let's get this done first. All right, looking good. So all right, the nice thing about this contact cleaner is it evaporates fairly quickly. So what we're going to want to do though is we're going to want to take our Q-tip and go into this brush tunnel. Now it's got a little spring in here, so if you aren't inclined to do it with the spring in there, as I am, then you need to just do it kind of up and down. Don't twist it, because what will happen is that little spring will catch the end of your Q-tip, and then you're going to be stuck in there, and you might even leave some fibers behind, and that's not going to be all that good. So, and the reason that you don't want the fibers in there isn't what you probably think. It's not that it's going to cause problems with connectivity necessarily. What it's going to cause problems with is those brushes moving up and down. They'll get stuck on one of those fibers. So I feel like this is maybe right out on this side. All right, so, and I try to use a new Q-tip for each end, but that's probably not necessary. I just like to get them really, really clean. All right, very good. So see how dirty that was? So yeah, that's once again, this is how your motor gets its power. So it's important that this is clean. This contacts to the brushes, which contacts to the armature. So yeah, all right. So man, so about the time you think you have it clean, you pull out something like that. It's all right. You want to do this until you start getting them to pull out clean, is what you really, or what your goal really is. So let's put it that way. It's all right. It's mostly doing it. All right. I think we about got it here. It's all right. Cool. All right. So before you start thinking about getting these brushes back in here, what you want to do is, first off, these brushes they have, and I don't know, let's see, I'm going to hold this up to the camera and hopefully it'll show it. I think it will. You have these, well, let's see, yeah, these slots. It does show these slots in the end, and this is the end that's going to go towards the spring. And if you think about it, you can probably figure out why. The spring is going to hold this and keep the brush from spinning. Now, if you were to put this in backwards, it would function, but I'm always afraid, always scared that this guy here will eat up your armature because it is a slot. You know, could eat it. So, yeah, I mean, probably not the end of the world, and probably I'm just being paranoid because it is, I think, just, like I said, graphite, but that's the way that I think about it. All right, so before you button all this up, what you want to do is you want to stick these in here, and you want to make sure that they are nice and free. I mean, they should not be binding. I mean, they shouldn't even act like they're binding, and that one's good. And let's see, this one. Uh-oh. Good enough it popped out on me. So, all right, very good. Yep. So these are good. They aren't binding. They aren't sticking. If you find that, you know, it feels like it's in molasses or something along that lines, you know, these should spring in and out with no kind of holding back or anything at all. So, all right. So these are ready, I believe, to be put back in here. So, all right, there's several ways to do this. And usually what I do is not the way I'm going to do it tonight, I don't think. So what you can do is you can go ahead and put this guy back on here, and you can spring these springs out of the tunnel, which is the way I am going to do it tonight. And that's probably actually the correct way to do it. But what I normally do is I normally will put the brushes in there, then I'll just put it on, let gravity hold it while I put it on this end. But tonight we're just going to do it this way. Why not? All right, so this should go back on here pretty easily. Once again, you want this little drive rod down as far as it'll go. And put this guy back on its little pegs. Once again, be very, very careful. Do not force this. And keep in mind that you're doing a bunch of different things at once. You're getting your armature to go back in the bushing here, and you're getting these to go back on these pegs. So, I mean, it takes a little bit of patience, but you can do it. You can do it. I promise you can. It's all right. So let's see. I think about got it. So once again, just take your time. All right. So you'll notice that you can see the the armature shaft right there, and that these guys are nice. So you notice we didn't have to force anything. We didn't have to do anything else. So you may also notice that the rust is gone from this end. So all right, let's go ahead and put these little nuts back on. And we're not going to tighten them real tight right this minute, but we're going to just get them on here good enough to hold this down. All right. So one of the things that I've noticed about these little Marx motors over the years is that a lot of times you'll be playing with them, and all of a sudden, you know, they're just going around just happy, and all of a sudden they stop. And a lot of times when that happens, especially if you've just serviced it or cleaned it, is that this bottom screw has fallen out on the track. So if you have that happen, don't panic right away. Just kind of look around, look and see if that has fallen off. All right, so let's get these little springs out, and this screwdriver that I have on here might be a little too large for this. Maybe not. It's all right. I don't know if the camera can see it or not, but I got the spring and it's coming out of the tunnel. Once again, don't get in a hurry. Just kind of set it to the side over there. So all right, once again, the side with the little slot that I showed you guys just a minute ago is going to go in this side out towards the with the spring holding it. So all right, so we got this guy, and this may be where my screwdriver being too big comes into play, but let's see. You just spring it over there, and let me see if I can get this camera to catch this. This will kind of take the mystery out of what I was saying, if I can. So let's see. Can you see that the spring is in the little notch there? Yeah. What that does is that keeps that brush from turning, and that way it doesn't spin and wear out quicker. Very cool. All right, so the bottom tends to be a little more difficult, but if you get this all the way down, you can do it. Once again, just some patience. All right. Let's see here. I may have to actually get out a pick to do this one, but let's see. Maybe not. I may have to turn it upside down or something. All right. The problem is I'm not seeing where the spring is. So, all right. Yeah, as I said earlier, I think this screw tip is actually too big to be of a lot of use on this. Fortunately, I got some smaller guys right here. So this is tiny. That ought to work. Got it. Wow, that guy was hiding. So all right, so we just kind of hold this brush to the side. Once again with the little slot up towards you. And get this little brush to get, or a little spring to get back in there. And yeah, we're done with getting the brushes back in. Wow, I couldn't find the end of that spring. I don't know if the light wasn't quite right, or maybe I'm blind, or anything's possible. So all right, as I said earlier, if you service these and you find that this somehow quits after you service it, this is the first thing you look for. See if this little screw right here has fallen off. And yeah. If it has, well, you've just lost your ground, and that's why it stopped. All right, and I wouldn't mention that except for I've had it happen several times over. That's right. So I want to crank this guy. I mean, not super tight because it is that fiber, but I mean, you want to get it kind of tight to where it won't back out for obvious reasons that I just stated. So all right, so I don't have the proper tool for this, so don't look. All right, very cool. Or I do have it, I'm just not going over there to get it. So, all right, believe it or not, that is all there is to the servicing that guy. So, all right, had we gotten in there and these brushes had been, pretty much worn out, shorter than what they were, you would want to obviously replace the brushes. But these were fine. They were just stuck in those tunnels to where they couldn't, spring to get to that armature plate. So, all right. This guy should be good to go on that part. Let's look at these front wheels. We might throw them a little bit of lubrication. Hopefully not to the point that we did the other end of it. I can see this oil. I mean, it's not real intuitive about how it comes out. So, all right, there's one. And there's two. Well, I say two. Yep, two. And we'll get this bottom as well. Why not? So, all right. Very cool. So then come and kind of wipe off all that excess. And, yeah. Very good. So, all right. So I think we're ready to put this guy back into the shell. That's really all there is to these little Marx motors. Now, what you might want to do, thinking about it now, you might want to go ahead and take your fiberglass pencil and clean this guy up a little bit. This guy looks like he's got some sort of stain there. So maybe he was on the track for some time or something. One of the things about these guys is you never know exactly what they've been through, or what kind of place they've been in. So any love that you give these guys is probably not a bad idea. All right, man, this guy is going to be so much happier, I think. So, all right, there was one little thing that I just remembered that I forgot to do. We did it the other night, so probably it would have been okay. But this little guy right here is a little piece of felt, and it's a wick for your oil. And what you do is you oil it. And what that does is that retains the oil, and it will wick it, imagine that, to the armature there, and that keeps it lubricated. So, all right, very cool. So, all right, and once again, I did do that the other night, but because we cleaned it and we sprayed it with the cleaner, that probably took all that oil out. So, all right, that looks pretty good. It seems pretty good. I don't see any excess anywhere, so I'll just take it and give it a little once over here on some of the other places that we didn't cover. Just be a little nice to it. All right, we try to take care of our things if we can. All right, Might wipe down those little drive rods. Now I noticed that this drive rod has a little bit of rust on here, and we might, let's see if that'll come off. A little bit of persuasion here, what do you say? And I don't think it can hurt anything. So I don't know that it's making it any better. I do think it is though. Really do think it is. So alright, so there's that. I'll wipe it back off. Yeah, I think that's okay. That's pretty shiny. Wow. So okay, this other side, just got one little spot here. So, alright, this guy looks like he's pretty good actually. Looks like he's pretty good. So alright, wipe him off. So okay, I think we're ready to put this guy back in the shell. I can't think of a lot of other things that we could do. So, alright, got a Q-tip stuck to my elbow. Alright, so let's put this back in the shell. And then we'll take it in there and we'll see how we did. We'll have to, let me get this, actually let me get these wheels cleaned off now of the oil before we take it in there. I don't really want to get the oil on the track if we can keep from it at all. So, alright, let's see here. Alright. And we cleaned this the other night, but look at all that's already on it. I guess that came off our track. I guess we shouldn't admit that, right? Alright, so yeah. Very cool, very, very cool. So might as well go ahead and wipe this down too while we're here. Alright, it's all looking pretty good. This got a burnt spot on that side and a burnt spot on that side. You see that? That's not where the track falls, so I'm really not sure what that's about. Maybe it's not burnt. Maybe it's something else. Alright, so now we are ready to put this back in the shell. So alright, let's do it. So we already got this lubricated, and yeah, I think we used too much on there, but I think it'll be okay. I think it will be okay. So alright, let's get this guy back in here. So you know what we might do is we might wipe the inside of the shell off. What do you think? I don't think that would hurt anything, do you? I need a paper towel again. So I got one over here. So I'm going to use some of the WD-40 on that. The cast metal ones don't tend to rust like the tin plate does, but I don't see that there's any harm in cleaning this, do you? I don't see any harm. Might make it feel a little happier about itself. So, alright. I really like to get these guys as nice as I can. So, alright. I might do some of the spots here too that we're going to do here in a minute that might be harder once we get it back in. Alright. I'm feeling like that's pretty good. So we got quite a bit of rust back here on the staple for the tender. I wonder if we ought to see about getting some solvent going on that maybe. So yeah, seems to be working pretty good. So I don't know, I don't know if you guys just saw that, but most of that rust just came off. I mean, it literally wiped off with the WD-40, and it's black underneath there. Wow. Very cool. So yeah, once again, singing the praises of the WD-40. All right. So I mean, it really does work. I mean, just remarkably well on this stuff, and I love that it doesn't leave like a lot of residue. It doesn't, it's not like a lubrication for the end of time. So all right. So let's see here. Back to what we were doing. So we lubricated this earlier with the other oil, and I feel like we need to get some of that back off. Alright, so one of the problems with having the oil sticking around is it will attract dust and dirt and stuff that you really don't really want on your model train. So much less in the workings of your model train. So you want to try to get that off as much as possible. Alright, so we're ready to put this guy back together, I do believe. Very cool. A lot of love just went into that. A lot of love. So, alright. So make sure that all this stuff is kind of where it belongs. And we're just going to kind of get it in there. Now I'm used to working with the tinplate more than the cast on these Ives, but just a little bit different process to get them. A little bit different process to get them in there. So all right, I can't tell, but I think the screw hole is lined up here. Maybe not. I thought it was. I think it is. I really do. So, all right. Yep, that one's in. So, all right, then we'll come around over here to the other side. Put this guy in. Then we're going to take him. We're going to clean this guy up. So we're going to clean him up in kind of the same way we did the cars, but we're just going to make it a little more, little briefer on the process, because these guys, this is the cast metal as opposed to the tinplate, so there's not as much to be gained. How about that? So all right, let's just let me get my fiberglass pencil out of the way. One thing you don't want to do, just from experience, is you don't want to get WD-40 on your fiberglass pencil. It tends to make it not work. So all right, the fiberglass pencil is kind of an abrasive cleaner, but like micro abrasive. How about that? How about that for a term? So all right, so we got some here. All right, so I wonder if we ought to let that soak on there like we did the cars, and then we'll come back and we'll work on the cars while that's kind of soaking. What do you think about that idea? I think that's a good idea. So all right, so what I showed you guys the other night was actually the exact wrong thing. Well, not wrong. The thing I don't do on these, and I do not like rub these. I just I just put that on there and I just pat it, and that will take the dirt off, and it won't damage anything as far as finish or whatever. However, having said there's so much dirt on it the other night that I don't think it really would have mattered all that much. But as you can see, I'm more patting than I am rubbing. So we got this interesting spot here on the top. I actually quite like that. I think that's cool. I think that looks pretty realistic, because that's how a lot of them wind up looking. So all right, very cool, looking good. So all right, we're just gonna pat this down, and then we'll come back later with a soft rag and we will just lightly wipe it. All right. So you notice that the tin litho here is bad, but that's not anything that we just did. All right. So I like this green card. This was one of my favorites when we got that lot. I'd never seen this green card before, so that was kind of exciting to me. All right. Once again, it's more patting than it is rubbing. I guess it's kind of a combination of both, isn't it? But mostly patting. So, all right, very cool. And once again, we will come back with a soft cloth in just a minute. So, all right, here's our tender we just worked on. So, the graphics on this guy are actually pretty good. A lot of your tenders, well, as you just saw, they get beat up pretty good. So, how do we do on the weights? Well, I don't hear anything rattling around, and it seems like it's pretty secure, so I think we did pretty good. All right. Patting and rubbing. Or more patting than rubbing. How about that? It's one of those things where you know what you want to say, but it's not coming out. Don't rub it as much. Is what I'm trying to say. Let the chemical do the work. All right, or the solvent. I guess chemical sounds really harsh, doesn't it? All right, so you notice that these. What I was saying is, you're just going to clean this up. This is never going to be, perfect ever again. This is tin litho, so yeah, that's just not happening. So this is very interesting. These windows that I just am noticing are not actually opaque. I thought they were. I thought they were. This is the one that I thought was a lit caboose, and I said, no, it's not. But what I can tell you, now that I'm looking at this, These windows are painted gray, and I'm going to say that maybe somebody played with some gray paint, or maybe, you know, maybe that's how Marx did it. Anybody know? Did they do clear and then paint? Would that have been the way they did it? No, I have some Marx experts. I'm not a Marx expert. Obviously, I'm not a Marx expert, but yeah, that's very cool. See, these look a little more painted, but you can still kind of see through. So, all right, if you anybody knows, throw that down there in the comments. We want to know. It's all right. So, on these axles, I'm probably going to fast forward through this part because you've already seen how these go. Alright. One more wheel to be oiled. Man, that gets really old pretty quick. I mean, I'll just be real honest. So, alright. So, we got that on there. So, alright, let's see. So, is this one going to be a pain like the other one was? Because I don't know. So, alright, get it in there. Get it in there. No, that one was fine. Well, I don't know what was up with that other one. Alright. So, okay. We are done with that part of the project. So, alright, I'm going to go get a soft rag, and I'm going to clean up some of this mess too. And then we'll be right back. We'll wipe these down, and then we're going to take them in there, see how we did, and I think we're going to find that we're going to be pretty happy about it. Let's do it. Alright, so I've got some soft rags out here, and we're going to wipe all these guys down, and so just so you guys know, just so we're clear, once again, if you have something that's really nice or it's already in pristine condition, don't do this. This is just for something that, you know, it's not perfect like these guys, and just kind of brings them back to life and keeps them looking nice and stops some of the deterioration that's going on your tin litho. So alright, so this is going to work pretty good. So alright, you notice that I am rubbing now, and the difference is that we've let this sit, we've let the WD-40 do most of its work, and this is where the proof is going to be in the pudding. And pretty much after this, the WD-40 will continue to clean because it is, once again, a solvent, but pretty much after this step, what you see is what you get. And for the most part, I've been happy. So and I know I've told this story a lot of times, but I'm going to tell it again. When I was a teenager, I bought my first Marx train set, and it was stored in a paint bucket, literally full of water. And you know, I thought I could clean that up, whatever. Didn't know what tin litho was. And over the years, we've used some WD-40 on them, and frankly, they've cleaned up a lot nicer than you would possibly ever have imagined that it would after sitting in that water for, you know, obviously I don't know how long, but long enough that it damaged the finish. So if you have something that's less than perfect and you desire to make it look a little bit better, in the tin litho world, don't be afraid of the WD-40. It will not damage the paint. I have not once had it take a speck of paint or color or anything off. It's just a really gentle solvent, and it works really, really well on this tin litho. So alright, right now what I'm doing is I'm just kind of getting some of the lubricant and stuff that might have gathered on these wheels, and we did spray it down with the WD-40 as well. So we're just kind of getting that off because we don't need that on the track, because that's kind of a whole nother nightmare. That's another topic for another day. So alright, so that's basically about what that guy's going to look like, and I think we can agree that he looks pretty sharp. Definitely way better than the day we got him. I'm not ashamed at all to have this in our collection, and yeah. So alright, so needless to say, this isn't something that you would probably do on a regular basis, this type of service. It would just be something that you got that you may not know, what somebody else has done or whatever, and you just kind of want to go through it thoroughly, and that's what we've done here. We've taken this entire set, and from the locomotive down to the cars to the wheels on the cars, we've just kind of gone and just serviced everything. And that's kind of your best bet when you get stuff like this. If you're one of those people that buys the perfect stuff or whatever, certainly this doesn't apply to you. The broken toys tend to come to Greg. the toys in need of love tend to come to Greg, and I'm happy with that. I'm very, very, very pleased to keep them out of the landfill and to make them happy once again. So alright, so I'm trying to get this off. It's alright, just slow but sure. So who would have thought that cleaning up these wheels and axles would have been quite that much of an ordeal? I mean, I knew it, I just didn't, I've just never videoed it, so I just never really appreciated the I guess the time involved. But I mean, like anything else, to do it right, it's worth it. So alright, so we got 2 more wheels on this guy, then we can move on to the body. Alright, so once again we are now rubbing with with a soft cloth, because that WD-40 has done probably quite as much, or as much as it's going to do for right this moment. Now it will continue to clean, I promise it will. It's something I've said, and I know that probably some people are kind of going, well, I don't know about all that. But it does, I promise you it does. And once again, I cannot explain it, but it does. So alright, so the last thing we want to do, as far as things we don't want to do, is leave a lot of oil and stuff on the bottom of these, because they will attract all kinds of stuff. In my case, it would probably be dog hairs, because we have big dogs that they do shed, and other assorted things in there. If you've ever seen the camera zoomed in real good, you know that floor in there tends to be a little dusty. Electronics do tend to attract dust, and so yeah, if you've ever seen that, that's what that is. And of course, sometimes the camera will see stuff that you can't see with your naked eye. So alright, it tells me when it's time to clean. That's what it does when I'm watching my video. I'm like, oh my god, everybody's gonna think I'm a slob. Oh my goodness. So alright, so I think we got the wheels good enough. I'll wipe this guy down. We're not gonna obviously spend a whole lot of time on this guy because he's got the damage on the top. I actually think that makes him look cooler. I really do. I don't know. Maybe I'm weird for thinking that. But you notice that there's none of the colors that we've wiped have come off on this rag. I mean, none. Nothing. So yeah, like I say, I mean, I keep singing the praises, but it's real. So all right, here we go with our caboose. So it wouldn't, well, it didn't. I was going to say it wouldn't surprise me if some of that gray paint came off because it's on the windows. But maybe that's just the way they came. Somebody that's an expert on these marks needs to chime in on that. Why they would do a clear insert and then paint the clear insert. I mean, maybe that's just that's a Marx thing. Maybe that's a real thing, or maybe somebody has at some point tried to redo this or something. I don't know. Generally speaking, the lithographing is kind of obvious if you try to fix it, because Well, there is no good way. So, all right. Wow, there's a lot of lubrication stuff on the bottom of this one. Patience, patience, patience. And to think, I mean, I have racks and racks and racks of model train cars in there, and every one of them I've done this exact same thing to. So when they come in the door, before they go on the shelf, before they go into the collection, this is what happens. This is how we treat our things. So it's always good, I think, to take care of your things, regardless of what it is. I mean, that's the way I was raised. I'm sure it's probably the way you guys were raised too. Because, I mean, it just makes sense. Take care of your things. Alright, so last but not least, and I just noticed I think we're missing a step maybe on this side of the caboose. Alright, last but not least, we have this beautiful cast locomotive here. When I first got into, or back into the model train world, I didn't want any plastic bodied locomotives because I just thought the cast was so much nicer. And as I've gotten back into the hobby and so forth, I'm not quite as enamored. I mean, I still like them and I still respect them for what they are. But frankly, a lot of your plastic bodies are going to wear and perform better than these older cast ones do. Although they're certainly very neat and they certainly scream nostalgia. So, all right. Man, this soft rag is doing a job, guys. So, considering what this guy looked like when we got him, I'm going to say this guy is pretty nice. This guy is pretty nice. So, I'm hoping I have a before picture, and I should, because we shot the video where it came out the box, and then we'll show the after. We'll put everything together and we'll show the after. And with any luck at all, it'll be enough difference that everybody go, wow, that's cool. If not, well, I think it's cool. All right, so I think that's about it for that. All right, so we're going to let all this kind of the WD-40 evaporate off. And then we're going to probably go in there, throw on the track, we'll take some pictures, do some video. Compared to what we had before we started, and yeah, we're gonna go from there. Let's do it. My goodness, what a difference a little love makes. So we went from a part slot, something that's easily discarded, to something that looks like this. This is now a proud part of my collection, and I'm pretty impressed actually by the way it came out. I don't know about you guys. So let's just take a little bit of a look now. Of course, some of the cars that were really rough, they didn't come out as well, but, I'm going to say that this is nothing to be ashamed of. Now, I really, really like that kind of distressed look on the top of that car. There's people that will actually pay money to distress their cars in that fashion, but look at how the green one turned out. Whoa. Wow. So, all right, so seriously, for all of my Marx enthusiasts, tell me about this caboose. Tell me why it has clear windows, or clear plastic on the window holes, and then gray paint over the windows. Tell me, was it an option to have it lighted, or just, I don't know, maybe somebody painted the clear windows gray at some other time? It seems like it's the same color of gray, and it definitely doesn't look like it's ever been repainted. So I'm a little confused on this one. So all right. Your expertise is appreciated. So anyway, all right, back to the green one. Man, I just cannot get over how well that one turned out. And of course, our distressed car, we're going to call that the distressed car from now on, because that sounds a lot better. And then this locomotive and this tender, I mean, gosh, it just doesn't get a lot nicer than that. Wow. All right, so aesthetically, it looks really, really nice. Let's put it there on the track. Let's take it in the train room, and let's see how we did mechanically. Let's do it. All right, guys. So we have the Marx 999, the for repair or parts only lot here on the track, and we're going to give it a whirl, see what it happens. So, all right. So just a little side note: single thing that you've seen on this channel, with the exception of things that came new or whatever, this is the exact process we go to before they actually get put into the collection. We go through them and thoroughly service them, thoroughly clean them, and do the best that we can. That way we can have them for years to come, and honor their presence, honor their entry into our collection. So all right, enough of me talking, enough of that. Let's see what we actually did here. Let's see if we did any good. So I'm thinking we probably did, but let's try. So all right, you knew it was going to be reverse. It's always reverse. Here we go. Very cool. Wow. So what's impressive about that is that only a Marx that is in really, really good condition mechanically will go that slow. So I don't know if you guys have ever, with Marx locomotives, have ever noticed that before, but if it's not just like in top shape as far as the maintenance goes, it will not run slow. As a matter of fact, a lot of them as they get older, they won't run slow at all. So all right, this is very, very cool. So all right, so I know this isn't the views that you guys like, but we're gonna get this strapped down. I promise we'll do that now. It has gotten quite late on us. This took quite a bit of time, so let's do that now. Alright guys, this is about it. This was the cleaning up the, I won't call it restoring because it's not restoring, just making this guy fully functional, cleaning him up the best that we could. And yeah, he's ready to be added to our collection now. This is the Marx 999 and it's part of the Marx lot that we got. And we're looking forward to doing the diesels next and see if we can be successful with those guys as we were with this guy. This guy turned out quite nice, and he runs really good, and very, very happy. So all right, welcome to the collection 999. All right guys, well I hope you enjoyed the video. I know it got quite long because well, it's it's quite a bit to do to get things ready to come into the collection. I like to do things right. I like to do things in a way that prolongs the play value, the time that we will have these guys, the time that we will be able to enjoy these, and that's kind of the mission. That's kind of what I like to do. All right, guys. Well, you know what? I think we're gonna call this about it for tonight. I think we did good. All right, guys. Until next time, GGS Railways out. So cool.